What do you get when you mix a health coach and a wellness coach mixed with a lot of curiosity? You get two people who ask a lot of questions about health and wellness. Today, we ask, how can you change your subconscious?
We all do things on repeat, and many of the things we think are negative and are also on repeat. But why? And is it possible to change this? Let's get started as we ask.
Wait, what?
Hi,
Hi
Leah.
today? What's going on in communal world today?
It's kind of quiet.
Oh,
I still quiet, which
is
is
that a
surprising.
good quiet?
Well, yes and no. I don't do well when things are too quiet.
Me too.
I told you last time, but I've been very productive, so I guess it's good.
Productivity is always good.
How about you?
All good. I can't think of anything that is not going well. I will say this. I was on antibiotics and I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like being on antibiotics. I don't like it at all. I don't feel normal. I don't feel right. And and it takes a while to get over it. And I was
Yes.
thinking about like little kids when they're little and they're on antibiotics, and you're just like, God, they're so crabby and so moody. And, it's like, well, no, duh. They gotta be. I feel like
Yes.
garbage on antibiotics. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes, it makes total sense because antibiotics disrupt your gut microbiome, which is the hot buzzword of the day, but
Yeah.
it really, really disrupts your system. It makes you bloated, gassy,
Oh,
have
yeah.
diarrhea, constipation, like all the things. And then you're wondering, why actually do I not feel better after taking the
Yep.
antibiotics?
That's exactly what I did. And the doctor actually told me, she goes, it's a week after. Because I said to her, I go, I think something's wrong. Like, I think the antibiotics uncovered something else. And she's like, no, it just takes about a week to get back to normal. And I'm like, so even I'm stepping on the scale still, but I'm not even counting anything that I mean, I'm writing it down.
Right. Right.
It's counting, but I'm just like, whatever. This is crazy. I'm using this as data for the next time I get sick or need antibiotics just to kind of see how much weight I gain and or fluctuate while I'm on antibiotics.
Well, a cautionary word. I think a lot of people are in your shoes and my shoes where you start the antibiotics and then you're like, man, I just don't feel good and you want to stop it. But it
Mhm.
actually can be really dangerous to stop the antibiotics without finishing its full treatment course.
Mhm.
So just if anybody's taking antibiotics, just talk to your doctor.
Well, I did talk to my doctor. She did take me off of
Good.
that. She's
Good.
I had gone 10 days and she said I'm okay with that. So, but anyway, that was my story. I'm fine, by the way. There was nothing even really wrong with me. They just whatever. Anyway, I don't like them. That's my story.
I get it. I
And now
totally get it.
I finally see like when other people are taking them, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're not yourself."
Yeah. I
So,
think you're right about the impact on children, though. I think that's something
and a
we
week.
just, mhm.
Oh, 7 days. She said, well, she didn't say don't call me back until 7 days, but she said a week. If you're not feeling better in a week, call me and I'm like, gosh, you would think that like after 2 days, I drink a
Yeah.
lot of water. You'd think it would flush out, but
It's
no,
not just the water, it's
no, a lot.
everything. Yeah.
So that's about it. Anyway, call to action. I didn't do great. It kind of was just like I would plan my day and then I didn't finish it because
Wait,
I
remind me what you were doing.
Sorry. Yes. My call to action was to plan 3 days of what I was going to eat. And I just did it, but didn't follow it.
Okay.
So I would plan, and then my stomach didn't want
Okay,
what I
gotcha.
was eating. So then I would detour and do different things. So, I mean, overall, it was all right. I know everybody's on the edge of their seat wanting to know about my fitness, and it is still going strong. I have exercised every single day for this month.
What?
Yes, so we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna try and see how much more we can do.
I
But
like that. I like that you listen to your body and when you didn't feel like eating, you didn't eat.
mhm.
That's good because your stomach was telling you, look, I need a
Oh,
rest.
yeah, did not feel good. What about your call to action?
Okay, last week I had an F minus. This week I had an A plus.
What a difference. I thought you were gonna say an F plus. I thought because you
No,
added the minus, I was like, oh, maybe she didn't do it, but anyway, tell me what it was.
my call to action was to plan for 7 days. And I did it all in one shot. I sat down with my notebook, and probably that was the hardest part of the whole thing.
But hardest part to get yourself to do it or to think it about everything?
To think, well, what do I want to eat on Thursday? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to feel like, but I put something down on paper. I took a look at my calendar when I was going to be out. I put that down like out, or if I knew that I would have leftovers, I put leftovers, depending on what the schedule was. Overall, it actually really worked because I was like, oh, I want a snack. What am I supposed to have for my
Oh,
snack?
you planned your snacks too.
Yes, because that's the meals are really not my downfall. It's my snacks. So I'm like,
Oh,
well, what do I want for my snack?
so would you do it again just planning your snacks? Oh my God, I almost fell.
Actually, I think all of it helped to have an outline of the day. Breakfast is pretty much always the same thing. And then to have a lunch plan because sometimes I skip lunch and then I eat too much snack. So
Okay.
to have that in part of my day, I think an outline was really helpful.
So it helped you,
It helped me a
like enough
lot.
to do it again?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And there were days where I didn't follow it. I had to modify because either I had some leftovers or I just didn't feel like cooking what I had put on my list, or I
Yeah.
had a different idea, like I get inspired and I'm like, oh, I want to make this. So I think it was really helpful and I like it. I think it
Okay.
helped me to stay a little bit more in control.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Did you track it all too or just map it out
I
on paper?
I tracked and I mapped and I planned and it helped with grocery shopping, all of it.
You know what? Honestly, it helps immensely with grocery shopping.
Yes.
It it's unbelievable the difference it makes in my budget when I sit down on Sunday and plan everything out.
Well, for me, that's definitely there, but it's also I don't want to waste produce and it goes bad so quickly. I feel
Yes.
bad to throw it away. So if I use it, I'm happy. I'm really happy.
Yes. Got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it is my
Something you
turn
love.
to share. Yes. Something I love. I did struggle a little bit and then I said, let me take a break because we're going to be talking about brain stuff. So let me take a break and go refocus on something else. And then I'm like, well, there's something that it originated from our groups. And then I started suggesting it to my private clients to do. And I started doing it myself. And what it is it's a add a girl file, or it could be an
Okay.
add a boy file or add a person file, whatever, however you want to say it.
Okay.
And it is just a folder that I collected with like cards and notes and things that were really helpful and sweet and thoughtful that someone took time to write out to me. I I really want to print out emails that are the same thing and put them in here because when you go back to see the email, you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
who was that? What?" And what this does is when you are having a down moment, when you're feeling kind of blue or you're not important or you're not worth it, and then you go look at these notes and you're like, I'm kind of special. I'm kind of important.
I really like that you started this on your own. I remember I remember that we talk about it and it this
Mhm.
so can you how do you think it shifts your mindset though?
Well, it pertains to what we talked about last week is interrupting the negative thought. So
Oh,
if you're on a track of I'm not important, nobody cares about me, nobody cares about what I say or what I think, and then you stop and you take this folder and whatever it looks like to you. This is mine, but it could be
right.
individualized. And then you create this, for me it's a folder and I read it and I'm like, "Oh, this is so nice. Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, I'm so proud of that." And then I'm on a different track altogether.
Wow. And
I
it's
think
good.
everybody should have an add a person file.
Add a person.
Well,
I like
it
it.
could be guys or girls.
So
It
when
doesn't
did you
matter.
start it? And how many pieces of stuff do you have in it, if you don't mind? I mean,
Um,
you don't have to count, but like ballpark.
I probably have like 15, 20
Wow.
things in here. And it's not counting my emails that I really want to print out and put in there.
So if I want to be in your Atta Girl file, I just got to write you something nice.
Yeah, I think one of your notes is in here. I think one of your notes is in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. I feel special now.
Yes. It's just really super energizing and it shifts your mind. And I thought since we're talking about this topic, let me just talk about something that I'm doing.
I think it's good that you said it shifts your mind. And as you were talking, I was thinking about keeping one for my kids because
Hmm.
there are times like when they feel like stupid, quote unquote, or dumb, or, I could pull that out and be like, really? Look at this.
Hmm.
Look at this. Look at this award. Look at that. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah. But I like keeping it in
Absolutely.
one place instead of everywhere where you're like, oh, where did I put that?
Hmm. Yes.
I,
It's
I like
really,
that.
it's really very positive, which we need more of anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of like
And
your
it's,
affirmations a little bit too. That'll help with that.
you could put whatever you wanted in there.
Yeah.
You could put actual affirmations. So then
Mhm.
when you read it, like if you like quotes and you're like, this one really motivated me, and then you put that in there. You could put anything, a drawing or I have
Okay.
drawings from my nieces, or like it could be anything.
Oh, that's such a good idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Because when a child makes something for you, they put time and thought into it.
And they think it's the best thing in the whole world.
Yes. It's
They
full of
do.
love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so that's my thing that I love.
I like that. Add a girl. Add a girl. So, all
Yeah.
right. Well, subconscious, right?
So, this is actually a connector from our last week's topic to
Yes.
today's topic of the subconscious. And last week we talked about the pre work to retraining your brain.
Mhm.
And I think what we're talking about today with the subconscious is, why is there resistance? Why is it harder? And what part does the subconscious play in this?
Also, I want to say I never really believed there really was a subconscious.
Really?
And I still am on the I mean, I totally believe it. But
Uh-huh.
I'm on the fence. Like, really, there's a part of my brain that I don't know is thinking. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a hard concept for me to wrap my head around,
Yeah.
which is probably an oxymoron in some way, shape, or form. But it really is difficult for me to think like, okay, so some part of my brain is thinking and I don't know they're thinking, but it is. It's exactly what it is.
Yes. So do you have a definition for the subconscious?
I do not have a definition for it. I have two different definitions to share with you. Do you have
Oh,
a subconscious definition?
I do.
Oh, good. Thank God. I thought you were quizzing me, and I'm like, oh, was I supposed to do that?
um, Deep inside subconscious are your beliefs, perspectives, expectations, and fears. You have no immediate access to what resides in the subconscious, but it controls 95% of how you think, react, and behave, the actions you take, and the way you perceive life.
95?
Yes.
And I don't believe, and I didn't believe that it's there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yes.
ridiculous.
And then I was really thinking about the next piece of this and why children have no fear. Like, if you think about a smile child, they'll go run into a wall or fall off a step, or they don't have any fear. And they do it. And then their brain's like, oh, we shouldn't walk over there because we're going to get hurt. And the way that I understand this, and I could be wrong, is that the subconscious is your brain's way of saying, look, I got to keep you alive. I don't care what this means. I don't care if you're not happy about it. I don't care if you get mad at me. I got to keep you alive. That is my only function. So I'm going to remind you of every time you fell, of every time you had an interaction that was
Oh, yeah.
negative.
It's the subconscious part of your brain that's trying to protect you in a way.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm not, my subconscious brain is like, almost like you need to eat because you might be sad later or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's controlling all of that part too,
It's
then.
also, well, I think more on a more basic level, it's saying, look, we don't know when we're going to get our meal.
Yeah,
You got to eat. And we eat at 5 o'clock, and that's how you stay alive. So eat.
right. And we have to do the work to train him and say, listen, it's okay if I don't. I'm not going to
Yes.
starve. I'm not going to do work. But so you said a word in there. when you read the definition, and the word you said was perspective, and I looked up that definition because
Okay.
I read the same definition as you, and I don't know why that stuck out at me. And a perspective is how your brain is taught to view a situation.
Oh,
So just what we're saying, really, but I thought it was an interesting definition.
but I think the key piece of this is it's taught to
Plot.
view.
Yes.
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 So
That's
I
the
have
key.
another thought. My niece is super afraid of bees, like beyond belief. And as you were just talking, I went, this is her subconscious. There's something that has happened that has taught her that bees are scary, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So it's almost like you have to figure out what caused that in order to get beyond that fear,
Oh,
or
yeah.
just do the work to reassure yourself. And maybe it becomes, okay, just say this bee isn't going to hurt me or whatever it is. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
for
that
sure.
that's a perfect example of retraining your subconscious.
Yes.
And that was my
Well,
second definition. Okay, go ahead. What were
oh,
you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, if you're scared of bees, for example,
Right.
that's a harder one to overcome because instinctively you just wanna run away.
Mhm. But you can retrain it.
Sure.
We can retrain our brain for these things, and I think that's where I love this topic and where I went down in the weeds with it because it's like we can retrain our brain to do a lot of different things, including
Mhm.
something like that, or as little as maybe I don't need dessert after dinner. Why can't I
Right.
retrain my brain for that? Why can't I
Absolutely.
retrain my brain to say that it likes exercise?
Mhm.
You know?
Yes.
All over. Anyway, subconscious retraining. So retraining your subconscious is a practice that involves using a variety of processes to train the subconscious mind. Two words I need you to listen to very carefully. It's a practice. It's a
Okay.
practice to do it, which is something that I said last week's podcast. It's something that you practice. You can't just do.
Right.
We have to practice. And the second word that jumps out is using a variety of processes. So,
Oh, yes.
everything I read about retraining your subconscious, there is not one thing that's gonna work for one person. You need to do multiple things, working on them to get that subconscious retrained.
Yes. Yes. And we had an interesting discussion last night, which kind of makes me tangentially think about this. Is we're talking about continuous glucose monitors that monitor how your blood sugar
Oh, yeah.
reacts to whatever you eat. And people were talking about how they use certain data to, in essence, retrain how they eat. So they may eat a certain type of bread, or they may avoid it, or they may eat um, minimize their desserts because they see the spike. And that's a method of retraining because they have data in front of them.
Oh. So data is helpful in that.
Yeah.
Well, it's kinda like tracking. If I see I gained weight and I eat pizza every day this week, the data's there, so I'm trying to retrain my brain, not I guess. But speaking of
So
that, I'm so fascinated with those diabetes monitors.
me too.
I'm s I'm not making light of it at all, but I would love to wear one for, like, 2 days just to see what how my body reacts to that.
I think what they were saying was they're going to be on the market soon-ish for with a non without having a prescription.
Oh, really?
So, but I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's what they were talking
Probably
about.
for a lot of money, but still, like, I'm
Yeah,
very
sure.
fascinated by
It's
it.
a monthly fee because
Mm.
you pay for it's like I'm sure there's an app and a device, and then they have to reapply.
So,
And
it's amazing what they can do with medicine, but
so
anyway.
I was also reading when you experience worry, fear, and doubt, what's happening in the external world is bumping against the subconscious beliefs. This is from an article from Mike Kitko on LinkedIn, and he said, all the causes of your worry, thoughts, doubts, fears were programmed in the earliest stages of your life and are not true. You can begin to rewire them to change who you are and how you show up in life.
You really think they're not true?
Well, if you think about, if you're think about a young child who's learning how to walk, right? They may think I have to hold my arms out subconsciously so I can balance myself and wobble all along. But when you grow up, you don't have to do that because you figured out how to walk.
Okay.
And that could be true for anything on a deeper level. I just used a very superficial
Right.
example, but It could be
Hmm.
anything.
I
It could
think
be
some of
really,
it might be true.
what do you mean?
Like, I think some, you said worry, doubt, and what else?
Fear.
Fear. I mean, if people have a fear of dying, you can't say that that's not true because you really are going to die. You know what I mean? Like,
But
and
there
I know
doesn't
I'm
need to be
going
a
too deep.
fear about it because we're all
Oh,
going to die
I see what you're
eventually,
saying.
but the fear is going to stop you from living.
So on two levels, yes, it may be true, but there's no reason to have that fear of it.
Hmm. So it's the negative emotion that gets attached to it. Yes, you may fall down. Yes, you may eat
Get
a
stung by
whole
a bee.
chocolate cake, or would you say?
Get stung by a bee.
Yes, it could be anything that you're
Right,
worried about, afraid of, or if I go to a party and I'm worried of, I don't want to talk to new people, I have anxiety, and that stops me from talking to people. But
right.
if I kind of remove that fear or that doubt and
Take
say,
the emotion away.
yes, yes,
Now I'm seeing what you're saying. Like if you have the worry, doubt, or fear, identify what the emotion is and try and remove the emotion.
yes, because that's the piece of it that's not true.
And that is the second step when I did that tier um activity last week,
Yes,
is you have your thought and then you identify the emotion that goes with it.
yes,
Wow, I
that's an
just went
important
full
piece of
circle.
this.
Yeah,
It's all interconnected, everything that we were reading and
right.
talking about. I have a few more things about this particular thing from this article because it was fascinating. Your current beliefs are wired into neural pathways. That's why it's so hard for human beings to break out of old habits and programming.
We say we're just automatically hardwired for some of this.
It's hardwired, but it's not written in stone. Literally,
Okay.
the code can be rewritten. I just mixed a whole bunch of metaphors, but the code can be rewritten so you can train your brain to do something else.
Wow.
Your sub So then there are some techniques of what to do, but basically you have to be able to visualize what you want so that it can be potential. Otherwise you get stuck in, I'm afraid to talk to people. I'm afraid to get stung by a bee. I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to conquer this weight.
Hmm.
The list goes on and on.
Yeah. That's the key though, is identifying those things, like you said.
Mhm.
But when you said rewire, I thought of it like, you know how your everybody's house is wired a certain way.
Mhm.
Everybody. Like it's just how it is and it's in the walls. It is possible to change the wiring.
Oh,
It is.
yes.
You just
That
have
is
to
a
knock
great,
the wall down. Like if
yes.
I want an outlet that's on this wall here and I want another one here, it's doable.
Right.
I mean, believe me, there'll be some complaining and grumbling from my husband on this end, but it's and he can't say it's not possible. It is
Yes.
doable. But the work that goes into it makes us go, I don't want to rewire that.
Absolutely.
I don't want to rewire the
Absolutely.
fact that I feel like I suck at losing weight. Do you know what I mean? I
Hmm.
don't want my brain doesn't want to rewire it. But if I look at it from the standpoint of it is possible, and I just gotta push through that, move the elephant out of the way, and just put the new outlet in the middle of the wall where I really want it.
Well, I think that the key is if you wanted to put a new outlet on the wall, you would think about what would I have to do? I have to disrupt my whole, I
Right.
have to move the bed, I have to move the furniture, I have to paint the wall again, I have to get a new wall, I
Yes.
have to get the wiring, I have to get someone in. Like all these thoughts start coming in for logistically. And if you apply that to any other journey you want, particularly weight loss, you're like, I have to cut this out and I have to start moving and I have to plan and I have to that it just becomes overwhelming. So you're like, you know what? Status quo is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah. That's what I know, and we do shortcuts. Like my husband would say to me, "Well, I'll just buy you an extension cord." And we do the same thing with our health. Like, right?
Yes, yes,
We're like, "Oh, I just won't eat bread. I just won't eat pizza today." Like that's the extension cord you're putting in, and it's not fixing the problem that you need another outlet. I
absolutely.
know this might be a weird analogy,
I love it.
but I
I
came
think
up
it's
with.
perfect.
And it's just like you're gonna get people that want to fight it and be like, "This is not this. Why are you doing this? This is ridiculous. You look fine the way you
Absolutely.
are. I love you just how you are. You know,
Yes.
drink some alcohol with me. Whatever it is, you're going to get
Mm-hmm.
that person that's like, that's too much work. I don't want you to put the
That's
outlet there. And you
yes,
just got to be the stronger person at times.
totally. Totally. I don't know why this all just cleared everything up for me.
from an outlet, no. Um, it's interesting though, because I was looking at how do you know if you need to retrain your brain?
Oh,
Do you I mean, how do you know? We all kinda know that there's parts and bits and pieces of us, but I looked up signs to know when you need to. The first sign is you feel like you're spinning your wheels. Like, you
you know,
feel like
I,
every day you start over. Every day is Monday. I just keep doing the same thing, right?
you know, I know this is not completely related, but this is what the example that came in my brain. And I've changed my thinking a lot, but I used to obsess about things I couldn't control.
Okay.
And the example that popped into my mind is I was sitting at a band concert waiting for the concert to begin,
Okay.
a kids' high school band. And I'm sitting there, and this lady is smacking her gum, and she's like a few seats away from me. And I couldn't hear anything else.
'Cause
I
all you
couldn't,
could do was zero in on that.
I could only focus on that. And I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Why am I hyper focused on something that's beyond my control?
Mhm.
And I've had to shift my thinking away from obsessing about these things. I can't do anything about her smacking her gum. I'm not going to tell her. And it'd
No.
be kind of rude. She might fight with me. I don't know.
Oh my god, and then you'd thoroughly embarrass your children, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is for sure.
But you're right, like, there are things that you just zero in hyper focus on.
Mhm.
That there's no need to to.
Yeah, and I think that's an indicator of you need to rewire.
Rewire it or
Yeah,
reroute it today.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Alright, here's another one. You're working really hard and you have no progress.
I need some explanation of this one.
Well, I can only speak for myself. Like, when I saw that you're working really hard without progress meant, like, I'm working really hard doing what I need to do, so I need to change something. And I need to stop saying, "Well, this used to work when I was 20."
Mm,
I I'm doing the same like, clearly I need to retrain that thought in my brain that says, "Well, it was so much easier when I was 25 and 35," or whatever.
mhm.
Like, rewire that part. Yeah, absolutely, retrain. Yes, absolutely it was, but that thought is not helpful. That is
Right.
not a helpful thought. Because all I'm doing
Totally.
is
Yeah,
trying to compare myself, and I'm like, I'm a new person, I'm a new everything about me is different than that. So, that is the
absolutely.
thought that absolutely needs to be retrained.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Even
good.
if I say it was so much easier last year, that is not a helpful thought.
True. Very true.
It's not helping me get anywhere.
Or I was almost at goal, or I was at
Yeah.
goal, and now I'm not. That's not
Those
helpful.
yeah. I also thought of that you're working really hard without progress, like my thought about exercising. Like, I'm working really hard doing things, so I need to add that to it too. Like, is there something you're not doing because your subconscious is like, "And that one's not important,"
Yeah.
i.e. tracking your food or exercising or, like, you're working really hard, but are you?
But I think exercise in particular is one where you're not going to see necessarily
Yeah,
the progress. We're not going to all get chiseled arms,
yeah,
but you may have more flexibility. May have more endurance. You may have less
yeah,
pain. These are things that you're not just necessarily going to pay attention to.
true. Okay, this one you might need to help me with. You'll feel internal resistance to what you say you want. So what does
That's
that mean?
that's exactly what we were just talking about,
Oh,
how
okay.
your subconscious is there to protect you. So if you want to make a big change, like you want to break down your wall so you can rewire and get another outlet, your husband is, say, your subconscious, okay? And he's going to say,
Okay,
no, this is ridiculous. It's too much work. It's going to be really expensive. Why do
right.
you want to go through all of that? And if you think about your subconscious as like a cautionary space,
Okay, so my subconscious is almost resisting what I want to do.
yes, yes.
Okay, I have a
Sorry
couple
for comparing that to your husband,
no,
but
he doesn't, don't worry. You feel off, that's another one that you
you,
need to retrain your brain. You just feel off.
okay.
I mean, I think we've all been there, like, you're just like, "I just don't know what's wrong, something's off." And that probably requires more work, like, you gotta go, "Okay, what's off? Am I depressed? Am I sad? Am I jealous? Am I" Does everybody seem like they're enjoying their summer and I'm not, or
Mhm.
just feel off?
The
Um,
way I kind of envision that is that if you are doing things that make you feel good, you don't have the resistance. But if you're on the wrong road, you're going to feel that feeling of off. You're going to say, I don't
yeah,
know, I'm not happy about this. I'm not
yeah,
comfortable with this.
it's a good point. Two more. Things feel harder than they should.
Yeah.
Then we
Yeah.
probably need to do some retraining there. And the last one is other areas of your life or health start to suffer,
Yeah.
which we've seen the trickle down effect in the positive way. And the
Right.
trickle down effect happens in the negative way too. Like if I start eating like crap, then I just sit around and do nothing and then I feel like crap. So then this part of my life suffers and then this part I don't feel like going out and then my social life. It's like I can see where that's a red flag, and that's what they all are. These are all, like, little red flags, like, "All right, we need to start doing some subconscious work." Really
Right.
digging deep, you know?
Oh,
Also,
totally.
here's an interesting fact. Self-discipline comes from the conscious brain, okay? And
Okay.
only goes as far as the subconscious allows it to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Alright.
the guardrails on the freeway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So one more thought that I saw when I'm reading everything was pushing through.
Hmm.
Everybody, not everybody, but they say, I'm just down. I just got to push through. I'll get through this. I'll get through this. And the reality of that is not going to work. And actually, when you push through, when your subconscious is exhausted or any of those things that we were just talking about, when you try and push through, it wastes energy, time, invites fatigue,
Hmm.
invites discontent, and general anxiety. You
Yeah.
cannot just push through these things. And I know people say that pushing through works for a lot of things, but the analogy that I saw was it's just like if you pulled a muscle in your back.
Hmm.
You can't train for a marathon with a muscle pull in your back. You
Yeah.
have to take it easy and relax. And the same thing goes for a mental breakdown or a mental block. Pushing through can actually lead to more damage.
I see that. When you're so tired, you just can't do anymore. You need to rest.
And then you have to work on the several things to change that subconscious.
Yeah.
So, did you find stuff too?
I did. I found some tips on retraining your brain, but I think they're kind of connected to this in that I was reading about neuroplasticity. And
Okay.
neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to restructure or rewire itself when it recognizes the need for adaptation. So, what those symptoms that you were talking about are the signs of you need to make a change in your subconscious
Okay.
is in neuroplasticity, is the ability to do that. In
Okay.
other words, it can continue developing and changing throughout life. So, there is actually hope for change.
So we have the
And
power to change it.
we have the power. And there are some, obviously, you can do like visualization and meditation, and that's all good. But I found some really specific things in this article, which I thought, well, these are very doable.
Okay. I'm excited.
So this is from healthline.com.
Okay.
And experts believe that the negative thought patterns that occur with depression, for example, could result from interrupted or impaired neuroplasticity process. So if your subconscious says, whoa, stop, and your brain's like, but we got to keep going. We're supposed to keep regenerating ideas, and the
Right.
subconscious is like blocking you, that could lead to depression. So
Mm.
you have to sort of push that barrier of no, we can do this.
Mhm.
It is okay. We will be safe. Let's keep going. And the exercises that help promote positive neuroplasticity may help rewrite these patterns to improve well-being. So
And
if
what
we
are they?
push past that, okay, so these are the things. This one I loved so much, I can't even tell you.
Okay.
Play video games.
I'm so intrigued by that one. Really?
So if
Why
you
do you
play
think?
video games, and I don't mean in excess, we're not talking about
Right.
doing anything in excess, a
But
few hours a
why?
week. So video games can have cognitive benefits. These are a lot of big words that I'm not pronouncing properly, but motor coordination, so your hand-eye coordination, visual recognition, and spatial navigation, so you can see like spaces and understand visually what that
This helps
means.
your brain,
Yeah.
but not in excess.
Memory, not in excess,
Okay.
not hours and hours a day,
Right.
hours a week, a few hours a week. Memory and reaction time,
Okay.
reasoning, decision making, and problem solving skills, resilience, because you get another life and you can
And
get
you're not
keep
giving
it
up.
going.
Yeah.
Cooperation and team participation.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that big time.
You can recover from failures and setbacks, and you can explore solutions. So when I was reading this, the thing that it made me think about is we used to play this game when the kids were little. It's called Excite Truck. It's on Xbox, I think. And it's a racing game and it's a one person game at a time. But you would have to go through these courses with your truck or car or whatever, and you'd have to navigate solutions. So you remember, oh, you're like, oh, there's a bonus right there. Or, oh, there's a pitfall right there.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, yeah, now I can succeed. And when you do, you're really happy, really
When
happy.
you are this is true. I never thought of it this way. This is a great spin on it, on video
Mhm.
games.
And it could be anything. You could also do like Sudoku or
Yeah.
memory games or anything where it's stimulating new pathways.
Yeah. Okay.
The other one is learn a new language. And I think this is interesting because a lot of people think I'm too old, I can't learn anything. But that's not necessarily true.
I've heard
Learning
it's great for your brain.
it boosts gray matter. And after about 5 months of intensive language studies, students studying German in this study they did had increased density of gray matter in the brain. I'm stumbling all over my words, and it may offer protective benefits against cognitive decline.
Wow. I know there's an app. There's a couple apps out there that some
Oh
might even
yeah,
be free to like um teach yourself and just do it at home at your own pace. You know?
absolutely.
Cool. All right.
There's a total of 7, so I'll quickly go through this. Make
Okay.
music,
Oh,
and that improves your mood, your ability to learn, and it helps you remember new information, helps
okay.
concentration and focus. Uh, Music therapy appears to slow down cognitive decline in older adults. So just I think the act of learning something new, it can be really motivating and inspiring. If you say, "Oh, I'm too old to learn this," "Oh, I don't have the capability," you're just limiting yourself.
Right.
And that's your subconscious saying, "Nope, let's just stay where we are."
Hmm.
Travel, experiencing new scenery and surroundings can help you become better communicator and has cognitive benefits.
Hmm.
Your favorite one,
Sleep.
exercise.
Oh, darn. I thought you were going to say sleep.
No, exercise. It can lead to improvements in cognitive ability like learning and memory and helps finer motor coordination and brain connectivity and may protect against cognitive decline. It promotes blood flow and cell growth to the brain and reduces depression symptoms. And when I
Wow.
was thinking about this example, and they're all like learning something, improving something, it made me think of when I was learning how to use some of these computer programs. I would get so mad, I would just walk away and I would stop. And my kids were like, don't worry, I'll take over. I got you. But they're not home anymore. So I have to persevere and do it myself.
Hmm.
And there are times when it's really frustrating, but when I get it, man, I'm so proud.
So proud of yourself.
So proud. And the one of the last ones, which I think is related to what you were talking about, is to take mental downtime,
Mm.
is to take a break. And an activity that could do that is doodling. It
Oh,
allows your brain to unfocus. So rest can help with improving creativity, interrupting unwanted habits, which we talked about last week, is getting up and moving,
yeah.
and helping to find new solutions to problems.
These are really fun ways to work on your
That's what
subconscious,
I
like
was saying.
relaxing
Like
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Like everything I found was deep, like visualizations and meditations and practice self-awareness. And like, I like your list because it's actually like doable. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I
I,
think the other list is important and it's good, but it's not so easy to grasp. If you tell me to sit here and visualize my success and my future, yeah, great, but that's not as easy as maybe playing a video game.
yeah. Just to like escape for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say the one that I saw that I thought was I thought this was fun. A
Okay.
good way to retrain your subconscious or whatever, keeping it healthy is find people who believe your goals are totally normal. Okay.
Yes.
But I like this part. You ready? You need to find somebody that gives you the A, B, C's.
So a pathway to get there?
Yep.
Okay.
Always excited.
Oh, okay.
They give you support and they give you
Hmm.
great ideas. Those are the ABCs of, they don't go with the letters, but you got to remember that you need somebody that's always excited for you, that's always going to be the supportive and give you great ideas.
That's what
That's
you do for me.
That's what I thought of for you too. Like the minute we talk about something, you're automatically excited about it. You're automatically supportive, and you also add to the ideas. Like, and I think that's what a lot of us need in a friendship when we're trying to do something like lose weight. Who wants to try and lose weight and have a friend that's like, oh, it's just too hard. You
Yeah,
want somebody that's going to be excited, give you the support, and give you an idea of how to do it.
absolutely.
Those are really important
Absolutely.
facts, you know?
I love that one.
I know. I just had a couple other quick ones. Speak in the present tense, which is kind of what we said, like stop saying, it used to be so easy. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Like stop.
Yes.
Speak now, like in this tense. Admit what you want and say it out loud,
Hmm.
at least to yourself, because then your brain, you hear it. Um, create routines.
Yeah.
Routines are really powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I like this quote. Routine is what's left standing after you've drained your self-discipline.
Oh,
And that's what we're working on in a lot of our call to action groups. We have people that are saying by making a call to action each week on their habit, they're
yeah,
at least having that habit when life is a complete crapshoot and you have a million things
absolutely.
going on. Like, and that's where a routine comes into play is like we're working on creating these healthy routines or habits so
Hmm.
that when life is not going well, you can have those because your self discipline isn't as strong and you need that. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's so good.
What a great quote that is, though, right?
Yes.
Create routines. Their routine is what's left standing after you've drained your self-discipline.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so good.
I know. But
I've
anyway,
actually really enjoyed this topic.
I am very happy about this topic because I really never thought about it. Maybe my
Hmm.
subconscious was thinking about it, but the 5% of my brain that apparently just seems like it takes over.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
conscious part of my brain just seems so powerful.
Oh, good.
But I want my subconscious to be powerful.
Hmm. You wanted to think differently.
Yeah, I wanted to level out more because you said at the beginning, like 95% of our thoughts are the subconscious,
Hmm.
but we
The
don't realize it.
protective negative.
Yeah, I wanted to balance out a little bit better.
I totally agree.
So, what's your call to action this week?
This week, I pulled something out of your old book. Um, so I had a few social events this week, and I knew my eating, like I'd be tempted to eat certain things, or maybe I wouldn't be hungry. I wouldn't feel full when I ate there. So I had yesterday in particular, I had protein on the way to a picnic, and then I had protein on the way to a dinner. So those two things helped keep my eating in control. And I wasn't hungry, which I really like that feeling. Yesterday I got 90 grams of protein.
For
My
you,
calories my calories were still a little high, but I'm like, I can do this and watch everything else.
but your calories were high on good for you food.
Yes and no. I did
Oh,
eat
okay.
a couple of things, but
Oh, okay.
I wasn't at home, so I didn't have
Yeah.
control. but I'm gonna continue, like, if I especially if I'm going somewhere, I'm gonna either make myself a protein drink, not a ready-made one, or eat some yogurt.
Yogurt or something
Mhm.
proteinish.
Yeah.
Good. Good for you.
What's
Right.
yours?
I'm gonna work on my sugar this week. I've been in denial about the fact that we're going to be doing this in August. My birthday is Monday, so
Happy
thank
birthday!
you. So I'll after Monday, I will just be really watching all of the added sugar in my life. Added sugar.
So what we are starting on Thursday, which is August 1st, is we're gonna be consuming, as you said, less than 25 grams of added sugar.
Mhm.
That does not include fruits or things that are naturally occurring, but stuff like sugar in pasta sauce or condiments or
Yes,
juice
just
or
adding it up. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking out loud that how this is going to look for me is I'm going to plan my sugar in the morning.
Oh,
So I'm gonna decide tomorrow morning what my sugar is gonna be, and if it's ice cream, then I gotta make sure that my salad dressing doesn't have sugar in it, and anything else that I have doesn't have the added sugar in it, if that's what I really want. I'm not gonna not have it, but
sure.
I think that's how my strategy is gonna play out. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking right now.
I really like this because it gives you
Mhm.
not permission, but a new pathway to
Yeah,
enjoying what
I
you
get to
want.
say, "I can't have this because then I can't have my ice cream later or my snow cone or whatever."
Mhm.
So, that's the plan.
And and then you have something to look forward to.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so good. I like it.
We'll see. So, all right. Well,
Have
hope
a
you have a
good
great
week.
week. Bye.
Bye.